I just finished a 2-hour sit down with my parents. We have to sell our house. We've hit bottom. We are now a statistic. We didn't make bad investments. We made a very good investment. Our house, we're on 2.5 acres of woods. We've been here almost 20 years. My sister moved out 5-6 years ago when she went to college up in Bellingham. She's married now. She's been married a little over a year. My dad has been unemployed since 2001. A victim of layoffs at Boeing in 2001. I don't think I have to tell you why. He hasn't had a solid job since. In the 10 years since then, he's gone to college for free because of grants from Boeing, partially, which allowed him to go to college for free so he could get a 4th degree in technical drawing, entry-level animation. He's been doing that for the better part of 6 years, regardless of the fact that he has 3 other degrees from college, which are over 30 years old, and yet are still relevant. My mother is half blind. Surgical procedure that could be easily taken care of. There is a cure. It's done frequently. She has arthritis in one hand. Her feet are indescribably ugly. And I'm not saying that to be funny, but she's in constant pain every single day. Medication every single day. My dad takes medication every single day. She can't get a job because she can't see. She is the bell choir director for local church. She's been doing that for 15 plus years. No, longer than that. But, she can hardly see what's going on in every charity and hospital and whatever the phrase is we take her to. They turn her down because she's not injured enough. She's not poor enough. They'll take her in. They will. These so-called charities will take her in if she's on the streets, living, sleeping, eating on the streets. They will take her in if she does that. But not as a preventative measure before it gets worse. Before it actually costs them more money for their charity to take care of her. Insurance companies in America? Forget it. My dad is 63 years old. He'll probably never work a job again. And me? I try not to be a hypocrite in my politics of life. I try not to be a hypocrite. Say one thing and do the exact thing that I critique. I try to pay my way. I try to offer good advice. Most of the time it is good advice. But the reason I bring this up is because I have Asperger's syndrome, high-functioning autism. And that it's a hidden disorder. It's kind of the umbrella term, hidden disorder. In other words, it's not immediately obvious that I have it. It's not immediately obvious what the symptoms are. The whole thing about Asperger's syndrome is that it is high functioning. I can communicate very clearly. Regardless of the editing that I do to my videos and even to this vlog, well, to a degree. Less so the vlogs. You actually hear more of me as I'm speaking in the vlog than you do in my CDX reviews. By the way, I once again apologize for the 8, almost 9-month gap in not reviewing it was negligence at first, but now it's kind of become something more. But anyways, Asperger's syndrome, it's a social and learning disorder. At get-togethers with even a few neighbors or friends, it's uncomfortable for me. I just don't like being around people that I'm unfamiliar with. The most comfortable people I'm around is my sister, my brother-in-law, and his family. Okay, fine. And then my parents and some of their friends. But beyond that, I'm not comfortable being around other people. We have an annual Oktoberfest where we get big crowd, 50 to 70 to... One year we had 100 people, which was freaking ridiculous, but it was awesome nonetheless. I help with the setup. I help direct the parking into our into our lawn, so park cars there. It's a lot more convenient than parking on the street, which is about, sixth of a block away. They can't walk it. And then after, the parking is set up and the music is running and the banners are up and the candles are lit, I grab my plate of bratwurst and maybe a macaroni salad or 3 if they're enough, and a brownie or 2, and then I go up to the house and watch TV while everybody else has their good party. This is consistent. This is what I do in a partying setting. I don't go to parties. I'm not kidding when I say I'm not a party animal. I'll just go hide in a corner, I'll hop on a computer and look at something else. If you want to talk about Evangelion, you want to talk about, well, now it would be about Gundam. If you want to talk about Macross, you want to talk about the Washington State Ferries, which was a very big thing for me back when I was 20 years ago when we moved here. You want to talk a little bit about Boeing? I'm there, and I will talk. I'm guaranteed to talk your ear off. Beyond that, I don't care. I literally start zoning out, and it's just kind of a subconscious, I don't want to pay attention to this thing, or it's, what am I doing here? I don't like being here feeling. Asperger's syndrome does something, and then that's kind of the social side of thing, or that's kind of the social and the learning side of thing. The learning side of it is it's difficult for me to hold on to information that is not relevant. I can list you, I'm not going to here, but just an example, I can list off the name of every ferry in the Washington State ferry fleet right now. I just without even looking. Way back when I started getting interested in them, I could tell you how much they weighed. I could tell you how long, how wide, their draft, their beam, their height. I could tell you all those things. But I could not, for the life of me, tell you what I had had for dinner that morning. It's just one of those things. It's really bizarre. So remembering to do even simple things, brush my teeth, take out the garbage, vacuum and sweep the floors, dust my collection. I actually haven't done that, for a very long time. It shows. Remembering things is very difficult for me. I can learn things at self-paced. Learning about Gundam and Transformers and Macross and Evangelion, learning about those things at my own pace. That's just it. It's at my own pace. There's no stress whatsoever because I'm interested in it. Greek mythology, passing interest. I'm a merphile. There's not really much you can learn about mermaids, but whatever. But so it makes, I had to catch up with what I was thinking. It makes going back to school very, very difficult because that's learning under stress. Now, even if I'm very calm, very collected, whatever, there's something about the wiring of my brain from birth, by the way, from birth. I was born with this. There's just something in the wiring that says I cannot hang on to it for long periods of time if it's not relevant. Another symptom is I have a tendency to go blank, just like I did right there. You'll probably notice in some of my vlogs in the past, I've just kind of switched subjects suddenly, with they have no connection whatsoever. I'll just go blank, whatever. That too is a symptom. Anyways, I remember. So going back to school, I did finish. I did graduate from high school. I did get my diploma back in 2001. I was a super senior for 6 months, so I actually left the building for the last time in 2002. January 2002, let's be clear. So I was a little bit of a super senior. No biggie. But, and there it is again. I just forgot what I was going to say. Shit. Oh, I remember. So, I actually went to Everett Community College in 2004 and a little bit of 2005. I only attended 4 classes in that entire time. The AutoCAD 101. You know, it was going to be for architectural drafting. Basically, I went there just to see what might sound interesting for a career or job or whatever. I mean, I went to Everett Community just to see what would happen. I had no attainable goal, like I want to be an architect. I don't know, it sounds interesting, but you know, it's something that someone with Asperger's might be interested in. You know, why not? Let's see what happens. Okay, we'll start working on AutoCAD, computer assisted drafting. Why not? Sounds fun. Play with computers, sit at a desk, design buildings. Awesome. And then concurrently at the same time, that's what concurrently means, right? I had a course where I had to do manual drafting. Not drafting on a computer, but doing it old-fashioned with a, what's it called, a scale and a compass and what are those things called? You know, the ones where you draw circles and curves and things like that. You had to, it's kind of stupid. The gist of it is learn to draw by hand manually without the use of a computer so that when you get to a computer, you can understand why the computer works. You know, I don't give a shit why the computer works so long as it does what it's supposed to do. I don't care. Anyways, yeah. And then, so I did that for 1 semester. I did that for 1 quarter. Second quarter, okay, yeah, I passed the courses, blah, blah, blah. I think I got a B+. I can't remember now. I think I got a B+ in the AutoCAD, and I got a C- in the manual drafting just because, well, I didn't do the homework. Oh yeah, not doing homework, that's not a good thing either. But anyways, I got, you know, so the next quarter, AutoCAD, you know, 2.0, whatever, next level up of AutoCAD. Over the 2-week period between the AutoCAD 1 and AutoCAD 2, whatever they were called, I had literally forgotten everything that I'd spent the last 3 months working on. And I just, in the classroom, I was great. I got everything. I was gone for 2 weeks. I came back, I had forgotten everything, and I'm not exaggerating. It's like the vault of my memory had been closed off for so long that I'd forgotten the combination to the tumbler. I'd forgotten where I'd put the key. The information's in there, I just can't get to it. Or maybe it never was in there. I mean, it's literally in one ear, out the other. Now, you might make a joke of it, selective memory. With me, not so much. With me, it's actually literally selective memory. Like my brain, for whatever reason, won't hang on to some things, but it will hang on to other things very easily. It's the obsessive nature of an Aspie. That's what we tend to call ourselves. Some people consider it an insult. Some consider it a convenient title. I think it's a title. It's not insulting to call me an Aspie. I've called myself numerous times. It's not unknown. In fact, it's very common for an Aspie to hang on to grasp one subject and hang on to it for dear life because it's stable, because it's comfortable. But to go to school is nigh impossible for me. I haven't been back to school since 2005 because the state, by the way, Washington State, I think it was the DVR, paid for me to go to school. So I went there for free. I went there, and after a year and a quarter of 4 courses because I actually missed one, and then I went the manual draft, or I did the AutoCAD 2. That just became we decided, I just kind of, like at the beginning of the course, I just started falling down the hill and tumbled all the way down to the end of the quarter, and so we decided to change that instead into a credit or a pass or fail. We turned it into an audit, so that way it wouldn't go against me, but just to say, yes, I was there, I was present, I heard it. I couldn't tell you now what the heck I was doing then. I missed a quarter, just because I inconveniently forgot the timing of when you're supposed to sign up for the next course. And then so a quarter later, I think it was a semester, something like that. Okay, maybe AutoCAD is not the thing for you. Okay, you know what? Why don't you catch up on some stuff that you'd missed previously? Say algebra. I'd only ever known pre-algebra. I'd never done geometry or calculus or, believe it or not, even though Aspies are known to be really good mathematics. Ask Albert Einstein, Bill Gates. Need I go on? But this particular Aspie is not good with mathematics. Just because I have autism, high-functioning autism, does not mean I'm good with numbers, okay? I don't have a photographic memory, even though I do. Sort of. So I went, okay, so I'll take an algebra course. And it was just so frustrating. I had an anonymous note taker, didn't know who I was. Just, you can have a note taker take notes, and it's not for cheating. It's not at all for cheating. It's just literally the information that was coming from the teacher was so fast, and I wasn't able to raise my hand enough times because I would drag the class down with these notes. Oh, okay, this is what they were talking about. Oh, that's what they were talking about. Like with the AutoCAD course, I understood it while I was immersed in it, in the presence of, and able to get that feedback immediately. But once I left the classroom environment, again, that memory vault got locked up tight, and I didn't think about it at all. So that by the time I came back to the next class the next day, it was like 3 classes a day or something like that. Or, 3 classes a week. It's like hour and a half, something like that. I can't remember. Anyways, I think maybe it was 45 minutes. Anyways, by the time I'd come back to the next class, I'd forgotten what had been taught in the previous one. And you know how school works. They build upon what they taught previously. So by DVR counselor and I, we kind of looked at each other at a meeting, after the algebra thing was done, which by the way I failed miserably. I think it was a D+ on the last exam. Like, I'd been doing C+ up to that point, but then I got a D, and I was like, so I talked to my DVR counselor. We kind of looked at each other and like, nah, this is not working. So, state's not going to keep putting money into me going to the same courses over and over and over. That'd be silly. So we decided instead to focus on getting me a job. Well, Ava, what do you want to do with yourself? I want to be a giant robot pilot. Yeah, I want to be a giant robot pilot. I don't see that on the list of available careers. What else would you like to do? I'd like to be an astronaut. I want to float around in space. Okay, you need calculus, geometry, algebra, astronomy, physics. Next. What else? I like playing video games. You could be a video game tester. You have to go to Redmond, which is 2 hours away, and you have to sit there in line with 100 other applicants every single morning. And you'll get to do game testing for a week, and they're going to give you a questionnaire every single day. And you no, thank you, no, that's good. Yeah, no, next. You go work for Microsoft. No, you need to go to university to work at Microsoft. I'm sorry. You could be a forklift operator. Yeah. My mom tells a horror story of a forklift operator she used to know when she worked in... This was before I was around, by the way. Back in the early 70s. I'm sorry, late 70s. She was working in a warehouse. And like I said, I was not around at this point. Not an itch in your daddy's pants. And she tells a story of a forklift operator, not her, but someone else in the warehouse who was high, who was on weed, who was doing a little on the side. Nearly ran her over a couple times. You can tell that when it comes to the vote in Washington State of whether or not to legalize marijuana, I think you know which way she's going to vote. My opinion, anything in moderation can be good. Enough said. So basically, if I don't have an education, it severely limits what kind of jobs I can get. Do an entry-level job then. Be a landscape guy. I did landscape for 8 months as a seasonal job. I'm never, ever going to do that again, because you work out there in the heat, or the cold as the case may be, and you have to haul a lot of heavy stuff around, and that's never been me. No. So, how about a McJob? I used that term on my mom earlier, and she's like, don't talk about it that way. People use those jobs seriously. I could not be a cashier. I could not be a fast food restaurant cook. Is that what you call them? I couldn't do that. Too fast paced, too many hot liquids, too many strange smells. Bleh. Too much fast talking, too much stuff to keep track of. Very, very confusing. It would blow me away. I can't be an accountant because I'd have to keep track of so much information back and forth, and be able to recall it instantly. And it would be boring as all hell. My second job in 2006, which I actually had for 14 months. I'm sorry, I was proud of myself. I was laid off on Friday the 13th, by the way. No joke. I was laid off on Friday the 13th, had no idea it was coming. July 13th, 2007 was the last time I got a paycheck. And I did label gun maintenance. If you go to a grocery store, mom and pop store, whatever, you look at the label that has the price and the item number on it, but it's a sticker that's been put up on there, it's been stamped on. Well, basically the handheld device you use to print those out, it's called a label gun, because it looks like, well, you get the idea. Anyways, my job was for 14 months, my job was to take these label guns apart, and there were 3 models I had to work with, and they were all, spring-powered devices. They were not electronic, thank God. Take them apart, repair pieces, fix pieces, replace pieces, clean everything, send it off to the shipping department, let them deal with it. I did that for 14 months, bored out of my skull. I brought music from home. I brought CDs. I listened to television and movie soundtracks. I listen to orchestra music. People want to know what kind of music I listen to. I listen to orchestral stuff. I don't listen to pop, rock, rap, death metal. In my opinion, any music that goes the whole time, it's a wall of sound. Like, what's the point? You cannot understand what... I brought things that I could keep myself busy. Couldn't bring a TV because I had to pay attention to what I do. Couldn't bring a puzzle because I was working with my hands. I was bored to tears. The repetition of the work was helpful, but it was boring because, okay, a couple of years later, I went for a CBA, community-based assessment of job skills. Put me in a part-time position for a couple hours each day, once, a couple days a week. I'm not getting paid. It's all volunteer, and it's a small thing. It's worked out ahead of time with the DVR, and we just want to see what Ava can do. Okay, that's it. Can he take simple instructions? Can he follow simple instructions? Can he do these things? Can he... That's it. And by the way, that's not just for people with Asperger's. That's for anybody looking for a community-based assessment. Anyways, we discovered that while I could do complex tasks with my hands, in my words, once I learned how to put the puzzle together automatically, so once you kind of become an automated factory working machine, if you can do it without thinking about it, when I get to that point, when the puzzle is no longer interesting, I slow down because it's not engaging, because my mind is not, I'm not thinking about it anymore. And that's where I start getting bored. And during these CBAs, it was determined that my productivity level would drop dramatically once I learned the puzzle. Puzzle is a stand-in for whatever job they had me doing at the time. So, forgive my laziness there. So, let's see if I got this straight, Ava. You want a closed environment with a set schedule, little or no interaction with customers, as little interaction with other employees as possible, low stress, good luck on that one, something where it's self-paced, and something where you're challenged every single day, but it's not too complicated that you get overwhelmed. Go. Well, that eliminates about 99% Okay, 99.9% of the jobs out there. In 2001, if I'd posted that, yeah, no problem. The financial crisis of 2008 through 2012, no. People who are disabled have a shit time getting regular work. Shit time. You do not have your pick and choice because, well, all the skilled workers are sapping up all the little, no-name jobs. So, forget that. And so the ultimate question, Ava, what do you want to do for a job? You're so good with photography. You're so good with computers. You're so good with collecting and reviewing things that I already know about and have an intimate knowledge of and which have no consequence on the world outside of your bedroom. That's the kind of job I'm looking for. Those are my skills. I know how to use one camera. I know how to use a couple of programs on the computer. And that's it. Recently, 4 months ago, I got a new job part-time at my parents' church. I can't really say my church because I'm not a member. Never have been. Working the audio soundboard. Like, I come in at 7 a.m. God damn, who wants to get up that early? I come in at 7 a.m. I set up all the microphones. I turn on the equipment. I set up the CD for recording. And then I stay for one. Now it's day after tomorrow, whenever. It's going to be two services per Sunday. And then I go home because another guy comes in. He takes care of the 11 o'clock service. And then he does the close up. That's fun. I have a chance. It's repetitious. It's low stress. But it keeps me engaged because I actually have to pay attention to the service because I'm the guy who gets to stand back there and push the button that says, yes, you can talk, no, you can't talk. If you think I'm a little control freak, not necessarily. Even in video games, I always consider myself a support player. I'm not on the stage. I'm behind the stage. When I attended a Drama 101 course in high school, my last year of high school, I found I was not so good at acting. But I was much more interested at setting up lights and working the soundboard and rolling up the curtains or whatever the terms were and setting up weights so you could fly somebody in. I actually used to remember, was it teasers, tormentors, and there's a third T that described the different types of curtains different types of curtains that reduce or enlarge the size of the performance stage. Believe it or not, they actually have words for these things. So that was actually more interesting to me. But so I actually get this soundboard thing I'm doing at the church. This actually works. This is actually pretty good. It doesn't pay much. I thought I was going to be volunteering for it, but yeah, they're actually paying me for it. It's not much, but it's part-time pay, so why not? So me finding a job, what do I want to do with myself? I would not want to be the pilot of an Evangelion unit. God, no. Having to inhale that stuff all the time, you feel the robot's pain. You can get blasted, shot through, and no. On the other hand, I don't want Misato's job. Anyways. What do I want to do? That's a question I've been asking myself since before I left high school in 2002. I don't know what I want to do. I'm basically killing time right now until something interesting comes along. Yeah, I do job searches on not social media sites. Like, I don't have Facebook, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Reddit, I don't have anything like that. I've got YouTube, DeviantArt, Collection DX, and that's about it. Actually, Skype, which, by the way, yeah. Anyways, yeah, and I also have Skype, which I haven't looked at in so long. There's probably like 100 different, hey, Ava, where are you? Messages on there. I haven't looked recently. I'm sorry. But anyways, what do I want to do for a job? I have no idea. I know what I don't want. I don't want to be outdoors. I don't want it to be physically laborious. I don't want it to be high stress. Little interaction with customers as possible. Mostly because most customers are idiots, if YouTube is anything to speak to. What do I want to do with myself? I have no idea. I just kind of... So I've been living here for 20 years. and I've helped with the landscaping project that we did to help with set up for my sister's wedding. I did that. I help with the daily chores around here. It's difficult for me to remember it though, because the prompts eventually turn into yelling, "Ava, why don't you take care of the?" That's an oddity, a symptom of the Asperger's, which I haven't been able to explore. I'll say I have not been to a professional psychiatrist for Asperger's syndrome since I was diagnosed in 2003, which coincidentally was the same year that I discovered Super Sentai. How about that? That's the way I remember it, by the way. That was the year I was diagnosed and the year I found Super Sentai. Good way to remember it. Just like I remember we moved to our house in 93, which was the same year that Power Rangers started in the US. Actually, Power Rangers started, period. Yeah, 93. So, yeah, that's a good way to remember. So, I kind of live in this vacuum, and I don't know what to do with myself. I really don't. Like, I sit here, and, well, my dad's computer, I can't really do much with it anyways. I can talk to my clannies on Ventrilo for SD Gundam Capsule Fighter. You've probably heard me mention that a few times. But that's about basically my life is going nowhere. I turned 30 this previous Sunday. By the way, thanks to two of you for sending the happy birthday things. That was nice. You know who you are. I'm 30, unemployed, and bored. And I sit at my dad's computer on and off throughout the day, and I talk about stuff that has absolutely no weight in the real world. And I expect something to just fall in my lap and, oh, dream job. Okay. I've been doing that for, well, now it would be 12 years. Because, since I've been 18, I keep waiting for a job to show up and it just never does. My dad is in a similar situation, except that he has his age working against him. Nobody hires somebody who's 63. No way. He has too much baggage to lug around with him. He has a house and a family and medical issues he has to deal with, and no way is he going to be hired at 63. Despite, going to college for free and getting caught up on everything that everybody's doing nowadays. No way is he going to get hired again. And my mom is disabled. And then the thought of moving out. No, the thought of me moving out, leaving home, going somewhere else. That's an interesting idea. Sounds kind of exciting, kind of scary at the same time. But I don't know if I could sustain myself. I don't know if I would be able to form the habits necessary to do the things necessary to live alone. Now, at this point, the only way I'd be able to live somewhere else would be low-income housing for seniors and disabled, which I have found. I just need to put my name on a waiting list. In light of the discussion I had with my parents 2.5 hours ago, I'm probably going to end up putting my name on a list tomorrow. I've been putting it off as long as I can because I'm trying to keep them here as long as I possibly can. It hasn't quite sunken in yet that this house will soon no longer belong to us. I remember we sold my grandfather's house when he passed away in when he passed away in 94. No, he passed away in 94, and then we sold his house in 2003, 2004, something like that. Big events. I was really upset both times that happened. Naturally, I was excited and upset at the same time when we moved in 93. And I'm sure there will be good people and bad. waiting at whatever location I move to, but I worry more about myself and the habits I will have to form. Remembering to take care of the bills, remembering to keep track of financial status, remembering to, what do I make myself for dinner tonight? I can't just live off of pasta and hot dogs and pizza and all those other gooey and not necessarily healthy in generous portions ways, like most college students do. I am not a college student. I already did the ramen noodle thing in 2007. That all turned around. So, what do I make myself for dinner? What do I do for the phone bill? How do I remember? How do I set that up? Filling out paperwork. What is my medical history? What is my personal history? What is all these questions I have that cannot be answered by strangers is here at home. If I leave, now, I'm not going to get cut off by my parents, not the least, but am I going to, how am I going to do this? I've never tried to run away. I've been pissed as all hell at my parents for some time or other, or at one time or another for whatever reasons. I will not say why. I've been, spitting mad. But I knew that I had to stay because I depend on them too much. And they've always said, if they lost the house, Ava, we are not going to be able to take you with us. It's come to that point. We have to sell the house. If we're lucky, we will get no more than 100,000. That's for sure. I will not give the exact amount, but we will get a generous amount if we sell now. If we wait until the money dries out, we will get nothing, and all the time, money, blood, sweat, and tears, literally, that we put into this house will have been for nothing for us. And then when we eventually find somewhere else, there will be nothing. What am I going to do with myself? I don't... how am I supposed to... The option is there. It's an option that's no longer an option. I have to do it. But will I be able to hold myself up when I get out there? I mean, it's low-income housing, so I only have to pay $150 a month in rent, and then utilities will probably bump that up to $200 a month, and the rest of it's mine to do with as I please. I only get $689 a month from the state. There are people who live for quite a long time at these low-income housing places for nothing but that. What am I supposed to do when I get there? And more importantly, have I damaged myself by staying here? Or am I a bad son for leaving my parents now, when they need the help the most, when they need the money the most? What am I supposed to do? I honestly don't know. And unfortunately, I don't have any friends. I haven't had any friends since '93. Oh, Ava, you're our friend. Oh, we like you. You guys don't know shit about me. I'm just a voice and a pair of Caucasian hands that you see. You don't know shit about me. You're acquaintances. With all due respect to the people who have signed up with this account and who have followed me on YouTube for so many years, the people who have been wondering where I've been for the last 9 months, acquaintances. No insult intended. I cannot tell you how grateful, how astonished, how flattered I am to have fans of the stuff that I do. My toys give me respect. But in the real world, that doesn't mean anything if you don't have a job, if you don't have a home of your own. I don't have friends to lean on. And here I am posting it to a bunch of just anonymous people on YouTube. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I don't know what to do. I really do. I hate uncertainty. And right now, the biggest writer's block of uncertainty I've ever faced in my life is staring me in the face right now. And I see no way around it. None. We have to sell our house. And even if my dad got a job now, the credit card debt is too high, paying off the bills and the food. If we declare bankruptcy, they'll go after my dad's pension, and we'll still end up with nothing. Unless we win the lotto, or D.B. Cooper decides to fall out of the sky and land in our, front yard. I don't see how my parents are going to be able to keep this home for much longer. For 20 years, almost every single day, and I'll never forget this, my mom has said, "It's another perfect day in paradise." How can you refuse that? How can you give that up so easily? We didn't give it up easily, and we're fighting tooth and nail, but the realization we have to leave, the realization that I can be ignorant to the harshness of life is something I can't avoid anymore. And I have no idea how I'm going to deal with it. I will have support from the state and from my parents certainly, but what kind of support are they getting now? I mean, am I a good son for staying around? Or am I a good son for leaving? And relieving their burden finally after 30 years. Literally 30 years. Almost a week, 30 years plus a week. I know that sounds ridiculous for a 30-year-old to live with their parents for so long, non-stop. I mean, leave the nest and then come back feels kind of awkward, but once I leave, there is no coming back. I'm not afraid of I don't know if I'm afraid of leaving, but I'm more afraid of what I'm going to find when I get out there. And if my parents can't make it work in this economy, how do I think I'm going to make it? I guess that's all I can say in 45 minutes. If you can shoot any thoughts my way, I'd appreciate it. If this goes viral, that'd be really nice. Am I too egotistical to say that? I have just enough ego to say that. This is Ava, Unit 4A. Thanks for tuning in.